Hey guys, okay, so I'm Inster Platypus, I'm the video editor here, but recently I've been banned from the Discord, I've been kicked from the Brawl Stars team, so right now, change the password to the channel. I've basically locked the channel from anyone other than me. I'm going to be explaining what happened, why this is going down, kind of explaining some stuff about the kings that I'd like to express, and until further notice, all the videos will be down on the channel except this one, and no one will be able to access the channel other than me until any of this is cleared up or until further notice. Okay, well, basically, first of all, my first point, this isn't exactly completely relevant to the topic of this video. However, I'd like to just clarify something that I believe is kind of a little twisted in the king. So if you look at the king, you would say that the president of the kings is Pacific Choi. He's been a president for a long time, you know, he has that fancy role in Discord and whatnot. However, I do not believe this is true. So a lot of changes have happened in the king, obviously recently, and something that I've noticed personally is that Pacific never really puts his foot down on anything. He never really makes a final decision for anything. He always consults me, and that's not necessarily bad. However, the head vice president, Squid, who's the one who's kicked me and banned me from basically the Discord and the team, I feel is essentially in charge, because he's always present in obviously in the discussions as to new rules and whatnot, and that's fine and all, you know. However, he's he puts his foot down and stuff. He's he actually just makes decisions just on his own, and which is unlike Pacific, which makes him basically more of the president than Pacific. And Pacific could put his foot down on things. He has the final decision if he wanted to, but he never uses he never actually makes a final decision on anything. Which basically means the Squid is just in charge. And again, this isn't really completely relevant to what I'm going to talk about, but I just find this kind of interesting. But what I would like to talk about is... Okay, so basically, the reason I was kicked from the Brawl Stars team is basically just making fun of an admin, obviously. So and obviously I'm not. This was not unprovoked, and there was a lot leading up to this. And something that I have learned from this is that nobody basically will never lose their temper. So Squid, however you pronounce that name, I don't fucking care. Basically, so he kind of kept up this facade that he was completely cool and he was chill and whatnot. Basically, because we were arguing for a very long time, me and another member, due to pretty much something extremely petty that I'll go into later. And basically, I was basically banned for making fun of Squid too much. I was calling him a snowflake because he was complaining about me insulting him, and he was basically contradicting himself a lot, because he was oh, I don't care, and yet he was about to kick another member if they insulted him, which I find very strange. So I think the best way to basically just detail what went down is I'm just gonna kind of start basically from the beginning. So we have Carlbot in our server. It's a pretty useful bot, does a lot of stuff, and it has a function in which you can do dot ship name, and if you make two words, and it basically comes up with a ship name for that. You know, ships are romantic relationships and whatnot, and fan theories and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. But a lot of people are trying to have fun with it and see if they can make Carlbot say a bunch of profanity and whatnot, since that is banned in the server. So yeah, everyone's messing around doing that, and it's all fun and games. But the thing is, so I accidentally basically swear while attempting to not swear, but make Carlbot swear. It's all fun and games. So I'm put in the mute room, and in the mute room is basically intended just as a place, or as the admins put it, as a place to basically talk about trying to appeal your mood and get unmuted and whatnot and clarify your mood. However, basically a week ago, there was an announcement saying they changed rules, and there is no way to get unmuted, basically no way to get unmuted out, so obviously the channel is basically designed to appeal your mute, but there's no way to get unmuted, which I find hilarious at best. So anyway, so I got muted, I'm in there, it's like, whatever, okay. So my friend, basically, while attempting to say ship, because obviously we were like doing a lot of like dumb stuff with like the .ship name, he accidentally said shit. Now, the thing is, he was manually muted. He instantly corrected himself, but despite that, he was manually muted by an admin, Squid. So he was manually muted by them. So basically, so now we're both in the mute room, and there's like another person there too. So we're kind of chatting in the mute rooms, and it's like, why not? You know, it's all fun and games. So we're just chatting, kind of like making fun of the fact that my friend Jacob got muted, even though he was just like, accidentally, like manually muted, even though he was just like, he like just made a small mistake and instantly corrected himself. So then, of course, Squid, the person who manually muted us, and Pacific started giving us guff for talking in the mute room. Well, and it was originally just Squid. He was just giving us guff for that. So then we started kind of making fun of Squid, because first he manually mutes someone just because they like accidentally said something, but he actually put that. So he basically said that even if you do it on accident, you're still gonna get muted. So that was already a prior rule, so that's okay. However, this kind of pertains to my something that's gonna come up later. However, I guess that's not a concern. And now like Pacific's in here, and now he brings up the point that like a mute is not just like it's supposed to be a discipline. So the immediate problem I find with this is, of course, so if someone just accidentally like swears or says something profane, you're gonna discipline them for that. And I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me? That's bullshit. And it's like, well, guess what? I think that point was quite, the whole discipline shit was quite quickly dropped, and I wonder why. But as this arguing with like Squid and Pacific continued, I began to realize something. So basically, earlier I was also muted, basically just for the same thing of accidentally swearing while trying to make Carlbot say profane things. So, but I was actually chatting the entire time with an admin there. We were kind of having fun, and no one cared then. But I was thinking to myself, so what's the difference here? And I'll tell you what the difference was. Before, I was just chatting, we were just like kind of messing around with the ship name, even in the mute room, and it was completely fine. However, when we're just chatting in the mute room and we start to make fun of the admins, suddenly it becomes a huge fucking problem. And you know why that is? Because these fucking snowflakes are all but happy to like let some chatting go along. It's just like kind of fun. But when they start to have their feelings hurt, well, suddenly it becomes a problem. So then they start flexing their abusive admin powers and start giving us a bunch of bullshit for talking in the channel. This wasn't a problem before, but suddenly it is. And it's got a ton of bullshit, ton of guff. So eventually, however, Squid has to unmute us because like the mute time is so he unmutes us, and I'm still kind of making fun of him in the general chat just because of how like bitchy he was being. So then he just kind of flips. He bans me from the Discord, or actually he kicked me originally, then I joined back and he banned me. He kicked me from the Brawl Stars team, then I go on my alt account, I see what's going on. He's just like saying all this bullshit like you never disrespect an admin. Yeah, so it's quite clear that he just doesn't want his feelings hurt and whatnot. So that's what's going on there, and it's just so obvious the bullshit going on there. And there's really not a lot I can do about this, and this seems to have been basically quickly dismissed. Now, a lot of people, I see, think that I've been kicked. And no, I've not been kicked. I have been banned. There's a clear distinction. If you're kicked, you can join back. It's just a big inconvenience and acts as a warning. If you're banned, you cannot join back. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be unbanned either, because I'm sure Squid is going to be standing by the ban because of his feelings were hurt so so much. However, Pacific, he might consider unbanning me, but no, he won't, because he'll have to discuss it with Squid, and Squid is just gonna stand by the ban, and then Pacific is just gonna be like, well, nothing I can do! Nothing I can fucking do! So what this has shown me is just how abusive these admins can be. Just the amount of hypocrisy, the sheer hypocrisy, quite like right now in the hierarchy here. And basically, right now, I'm just kind of debating what I'm gonna be doing next. Like, do I actually care to join the Kings, even if they ask me to rejoin? I don't know. But I probably won't be asked to rejoin, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is basically just my goodbye to the Kings. I'm kind of interested to see how this is gonna be play out. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not. If my theories are correct, which I am pretty sure they will be, this is probably just kind of gonna be it my time with my King. So it's been fun, but peace out. And fuck you, Squid. Oh, and one more thing. If you enjoyed the content on the channel, yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna be happening anymore.